Good afternoon, people. This is your ISight Community Broadcast Podcast for the week of April 15th, 2023. I am your host, Cabriel Bruce. I have a co-host with me today, Miss Katrina Grable. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's everything going?
All right, how you feeling?
Feel good. How about yourself?
Feel good on this Saturday afternoon, and y'all know Katrina from the VIP Ladies, and today we are doing a cross broadcast. ISight and the VIP Ladies, we're gonna combine our podcast together today, so we're gonna bring y'all something interesting from both sides and point of view. So, what's the weather like up there? Rainy, sunny?
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, you can take your shirt off and walk around. Well, me, I don't know about
I
you.
just say if you choose to.
I don't know if you need to be taking your shirt off or not.
Nah.
But we enjoying the Saturday afternoon, sun shining.
Yeah, but pull out that grill and grill some things up.
So what you put on the grill?
Me, myself, what I like on my grill is veggie burgers or turkey burgers, hot dogs, chicken, you know. Some folk like to put pork chops on the grill. I haven't had that in forever. Steaks, the sauce, the kielbasa sausages, they're pretty good on the grill.
So there y'all go for all our people out there today who grilling out. Go get you some kielbasos and paso sausages and and they kielbasa. I can't say it. Yeah, kielbaso. You get you a couple of of them sausages. Throw you some hot dogs on the grill. Some of them Georgia boys, or some pork chops.
And everybody's favorite ribs to put on the grill, but still I don't eat those, so that won't be going on my grill today.
No, I can't eat the turkey burger though. No, I can't do that.
They're good, especially on the grill.
So what's some good sides that go with barbecue?
Definitely baked beans. How you bake beans.
Yeah, I've always had baked beans at barbecue.
And it depends on what your meat is on the grill, because if you do the ribs, you can do the baked beans, the potato salad, and macaroni. Burgers, me personally, we do the burgers. We'll grill the burgers up. Sometime I'll oven bake my fries, you know what I'm saying, or have chips. So we don't really do too many sides with the burgers.
What about tater salad?
Not with the burgers.
Not with burgers?
Not me now. I do know I have been to several cookouts that do.
Yeah.
Just keeping it simple today.
I'm just keeping it basic.
Yeah.
So when we're out on the grill, are y'all one of those who just start the grill up and then go in the house, start watching TV? Or do you sit out by the grill and flip the meat and all that type stuff?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me, I've only grilled maybe twice. And I wouldn't go in the house and watch TV. I just have to stay out there by the grill because I don't want to burn anything up. Because me being visually impaired, they used to thinking that we can't cook in the house, let alone on the grill. So I don't want to burn nothing up.
So can blind people grill?
Oh, of course.
Usually that's the question we get asking blind.
That's just a myth. It's a lot of myths about us blind and visually impaired folks.
Right.
Like any other myths are not true. That's just what they're saying.
I grill on the Joy Farm. I'll throw you some hot dogs and stuff on that Joy Farm. Girl, be just like you was outside.
Okay. You grill on the Joy Farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know how we have coffee and conversation in the morning? So one question I would be, when is the grilling season? That's what I would ask. When is the grilling season?
I'm going to tell you, grilling season now it's all year round. It just
It,
depends on your
it
mood and
used
what
to be
type
a
of food you want
time.
to have.
Yeah, it used to be a time where people didn't grill year round. It used to be a time that the
Well,
grill
yeah,
was put up in the garage. So when what? So
until
for
about
those there,
I'm gonna
go
say
ahead.
it's about April and May. That's
Mm-hmm.
when they normally start bringing the grills out.
So if you
Back in the
down in the
day, now.
comment, so if you down in the comments and like to leave a comment, let us know when does grilling season start for you. What month does grilling season start for you? For when I grew up, it always started Memorial Day. We will grill
May.
Memorial Day, and we will grill for 4th of July, and then we'll grill for Labor Day, and that was it. We used to
Oh
grill three
wow.
times a year: Memorial Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. And that was just like watermelon. We didn't eat watermelon until the 4th of July.
Now I'm gonna tell you and how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Grilling probably started Easter, around Easter.
Easter. Okay.
And it's no certain holidays. If we feeling fine and nice and the weather's nice, it's pulling out the grill.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never just no 3 times a year thing with us with the grill, but it only was when the weather was nice and warm. Watermelon, I think we would start eating watermelon around May, June, all the way up until the weather started changing.
Now they eat watermelon all year round. I go in the store now, and you can find that chopped up watermelon with the bigger rip off. When I got
Chopped
paid
up.
nine, yeah, you ain't never seen it in the
Talking
little
about at
packet.
Publix.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
in
know.
public,
Yeah.
you get about 7, 8 pieces for $13.
All the slices.
Yeah, the slices.
But you do know they have this big thing, and it's off the rind that's cut into like squares of
Mm.
watermelon in a tray. And that
Uh,
thing about $20, but it is a big thing with a lot of watermelon squares in it.
yeah. So y'all had a pretty good Easter.
Yeah.
Hide in the eggs.
We did let the children hunt eggs after church.
You remember hunting eggs after church when you were little?
I remember having an Easter egg hunt, not necessarily after church,
Mm. But
because
just
yeah,
a lot of time people only went to church on Easter.
and that's how it is now.
And that's how it was when we were growing up. We always
Yeah,
went to church on Easter. And then
yeah.
we had that Easter egg hunt.
Church could be like a ghost town, but soon Easter come, it's packed.
Right. Then we had the colored eggs, and we used to eat so many eggs till our stomach hurt. Put that
Mm-hmm.
salt on them. You get an egg, just sprinkle that salt and pepper, or roll them around in that salt and pepper. And the thrill of just peeling the
The
egg off, you
shell,
crack, yeah, you crack the
yeah.
shell, and then you peel the shell off, and then
Mm-mm.
eat the egg.
I wasn't egg eater. I only liked it for the coloring. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger hunting eggs, I used to like the different colors. I was never one of the ones that would eat the eggs. I would give them to my mama, and she liked
Mm-hmm.
it on, so I would give them to her to eat. And even when I had my children and they were little, it was all about the coloring of the eggs to me. I just still love to do that.
Mm. So what color you used to color yours all the time?
That pink, that blue,
Mm. So y'all
yellow.
got the little color kit.
Yeah.
Would y'all do the stickers too?
Yep, I did
Yeah,
all of
stick the
that.
stickers on them.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, Easter basket was, man, it used to have be packed with candy.
So
Now,
much stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
and now you don't get nothing for $20.
Mm-mm.
Now Easter basket used to be about $5, and they used to
Yeah.
be full of stuff. Now for $20,
You might as
there ain't
well make
nothing
your
in the
own
bag.
basket.
There
Make
ain't
your
nothing
own
in the bag.
baskets. That's why I prefer to make I make my grandson his own Easter basket. That way you could
Mm,
customize it.
yeah, but a lot of things now becoming customized. A lot of the traditional way back then that we knew, it ain't the same no more. Even with food, I remember the Happy Meal. You get a Happy Meal for like $1.99 or something like that, and you
Try that
always got a
now.
you always got a toy. You got a
Yeah.
cheeseburger, some nuggets, some big old fry,
Fries.
and a toy and a drink. Now you get this fry. They got like 3 fries in it.
Yeah, they
A
so
little
small.
small, yeah, a little small cheeseburger in the toy. And back then, you only bought Happy Meal based on the toy, based on the
Toy, yeah.
commercial that used to come out.
But you don't
You
have them
know,
type of commercials anymore.
no,
I
no, you
doubt if
don't.
I doubt if people even know who Ronald McDonald is because you don't see him in no commercials. And then I had a conversation last night with my oldest, and I was saying something about the color of Ronald McDonald hair. And she's like, "Who is Ronald McDonald?" I'm like, "You don't know who
Right.
Ronald McDonald is?"
They don't. They probably don't
It's
even know the Ronald McDonald House. For
right,
people who
yeah.
children are sick and anything. And yeah, I remember Ronald McDonald. He was a big
Grimace,
clown. Yeah,
the Hamburglar,
yeah.
Wendy, whatever her name was, that had
Yeah,
the
Wendy. Wendy was the daughter of Dave. Dave's daughter was named Wendy. And Wendy was named after Wendy. Wendy's were named after Wendy. Dave, the founder of Wendy's
Wendy,
daughter.
yeah.
And she was in commercials and um Burger King, they used to put the crown on your head when you go out there.
Yeah.
That was their thing.
But now they
And
just have the crown sitting up for you to just get one.
uh, and you always knew Arby's. We have the meats. The
Yeah.
slogan. Slogans always went with what's your favorite slogan overall? That's a good question too to
It
put
is.
down in the comment. What would be your greatest slogan? Is it Arby's? We have the meat. Um, it's
Burger King.
Burger King. This
Have a
Bud's on
show.
you. Have it your way. Yeah, Burger King will have it your way. Um, yeah. So let's do some slogans. So if you're down in the comments today, put your top slogans
That
down.
would have been a good question for your chime in of the day.
Yeah, so we'll post that on the chime in. Also, your best slogan that you grew up on. You grew up knowing. Where's the beef? Then they
That
say,
was
where's the
a
beef between your teeth? Uh, Domino, 30 minutes or less.
yeah.
Remember, yeah. So as we transition in, what you want to talk about today? The questions you've been asked this week, the VIP ladies, what y'all got going on, and any questions anybody asked the VIP ladies
There
that we can
wasn't
talk about?
any questions that have been asked, but I asked the question to my group
Okay.
because a lot of time when it comes to this matter, the blind women, visually impaired girls, whatever, they get overlooked.
Okay.
And the question I asked, had any blind or visually impaired woman or girl suffer any physical or sexual abuse?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I asked, because some guys or whatever think that it's an easier target. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Although they can hear you or whatever, but they can't see you. So they can't report to the police like what does the guy look like. So they
Right.
feel like they can do it and get off scot free. So a lot of times, they don't speak out about it. And I just want to know how often had that happened to anyone and need to bring awareness to it.
Well, we are in the moment, in the movement now, in life where um, abuse of all nature is on the forefront, and you see these people who are speaking out, but you rarely see those in our community getting acknowledgement or speaking out, like you said, on some things that have happened to them, both men and women. A lot of times, like you said, people feel because we are visually impaired that we can be a easy target. Um, Other than children and then visually impaired adults. And I wonder what's that statistic like, and is it happen? And so the question I would ask you: Do visually impaired people get physically abused?
Yeah,
You think so?
yeah. It may not be, spoke about a lot, but it does happen.
So a person with physically abused or visually impaired person, what type of person would do that, or is it just looking at that person as a person and we just fighting, or you know, I would view it as you hitting a defenseless person. That's how
Yeah,
I
you
would look
you
at it.
you kind of got to be truly heartless, you know, to first of all hit a woman, but for somebody that can't see you and don't know what's coming at you, you just have no heart, no, you know what I'm saying? You're not. I don't know how to put it in words, but
Mm,
you.
a
How can
monster.
you just stand there and fight somebody that can't see you? Like you said, you find a defenseless person, and not because they can't fight back, but it's all because they can't see what's coming at them. And then if they're fighting back, they're swinging, you moving out of the way. They don't know where you know what I'm saying? They don't know
Right.
where you
So it's
at.
kind of
They
not
just
like a foul fight, really.
right, right.
And anyway, you don't get points off of hitting no woman, period, but especially a woman. What you could, hitting a person or a man who can't see, you don't get no points off of that to abuse a person. And I also have heard that a lot of mental verbal abuse in our community comes up about the way our spouses and significant other talk to their significant other by telling them they're not nothing, they're
That's
never
probably
gonna
number
be anything,
one. That's a
they're never
probably
gonna
number
be
one thing.
anything,
Yeah.
you can't
Like don't
see,
know ain't nobody gonna want you, you know,
right?
because you're worthless, you can't see, you can't do this, you're
So what do
needy.
you want me for? If don't nobody want me, what you with me for? That would be the question. If don't
Yeah,
nobody want me, why you still here? Why you here? But they make us feel so bad, like and I'm the only one gonna help you. Don't
yeah,
and then they'll try to point out, well, don't nobody come do this for you. You're gonna be here by yourself, and that's a way of control and a way of dragging a person's self esteem now.
it really is. And
Because
most go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
And most blind and visually impaired women already go through self-esteem issues as it is, especially when you're a woman with a sighted man and then you're trying to compete in the world with these sighted women. You know, it makes it feel all the more bad because you already know what you already know you got this disability against you, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't do certain things, although you know there are a lot of things you can do and a lot of different ways you can do things, but you still feel like you're competing, you know what I'm saying?
So have you ever had self-esteem issues since you've been vision impaired?
Well, I've been vision impaired all my life, but
But
I think
right.
my self-esteem issues came later in like I ain't gonna say later, but by the time I hit my teens and I started
Mm-hmm.
going to public school,
Mm-hmm.
because you had people that would look at me like, I don't know, like, you can't see, so you don't really fit into any group. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the
Mm-hmm.
popular folks and you have this set of people, and you don't fit into neither one of them because you can't see, and they make you feel like you're just odd, you're just different, like you don't belong. So yeah, my self esteem suffered then, but as I got older, you know, I started getting better about it.
Do you think that abuse within, like the verbal abuse starts, um, we start accepting it in our early teens that when we dating, in the process, and then we can let that linger on into our adult life?
Absolutely. Because when you start accepting stuff, like, that's why I would like to reach out to a lot of teens, that are starting to
Mm-hmm.
date, Well, even if they're dating another visually impaired person, do not, no, don't allow them to abuse you no kind of way, because if you accept it, then every man you get, just about you, that's the type you're gonna go for, and
So have you? Go ahead.
a lot of teens, whether they were visually impaired or not,
Mm-hmm.
if they got self-esteem issues, and you get with somebody that's abusive, feel like you need that person, you know what I'm saying? Your
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem gonna be so low, and you be like, well, that person really care about me. I ain't gonna get nobody else. So I just accept what's going on just so I have somebody.
So do you think, as vision impaired men and women, that we put up with people just to have somebody,
In some cases, that's true.
and that we need, and people can make us feel like we need them, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where some of the verbal abuse we was talking about earlier comes into play, when
Absolutely.
people make us feel like we need them, like we can't survive without them. And then that's what the VIP ladies and ISight is showing people, that you don't have to put all your eggs in the basket. You can get out and go places on your own.
Yeah.
You can do things on your own. You can cook and clean. You don't have to be at the beg nobody to do things for you when they want to, based on how they want you to feel. Because a lot of time, on one abuse here, they don't want you to do nothing or go nowhere.
Mm-mm.
They feel like, where you going? What, you don't need to go nowhere here. You don't need to go there. Go sit down. Go do this. Go do that. And a lot of time they'll run and be like, well, I go to the store for you, and then maybe
Yeah.
I want to get out and enjoy
Yeah.
some sun.
Yeah. But
You
see, when
know,
that
maybe
begins to take place, man, you find yourself in depression, and you just, you know what I'm saying? Don't when you sit in somewhere, you just go deeper, deeper in depression till you don't want to get out. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go live life as you can live it. But I asked a question also in
mm-hmm,
my group the other day. I said, you know your disabilities, but what are your
mm-hmm.
what are your abilities? What are your capabilities? You have somebody throw up all day long, you can't see. Okay, that's just that.
We know
But
that. That
you
ain't
can
new.
very much do everything that you want to do. Like like I like you can do one thing, okay, because it works your way. It might not work for me. I just got to map out a different way of doing things. But you still can do stuff that these sighted people do.
Just back transitioning back to the abuse and some of the abuse we were talking about. Do you think that vision impaired people are abusers? Could be
That yeah,
abusers.
definitely they can
So
be.
you tell me that a blind man can abuse a female, or a
Yeah,
blind female can abuse a man.
yeah.
But you know the question people go ask, right? How can
How?
you see them to hit them? No, I'm not trying to
And
make light of this,
yeah,
but
I know, and you
it's
just
funny to us because
we
we
know.
visually impaired, but
Yeah.
yeah, to y'all people who out there, it ain't a laughing matter, but to us, we hear these type of things. So um, go ahead and finish your thought.
I
So
was
the
gonna
question,
say how I couldn't, it's put into
yeah,
words, but you would just have to be there to see that, because
mm,
although you can't see, you
right.
still
Maybe I
have
should get that on tape.
maybe, but you
Next
still
time you
like
hit me upside the head.
if you would close your eyes and you were standing close to somebody,
Mm,
if somebody walked upon you, you would know it, because
mm,
you could feel
right,
something over you
right.
or around you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I say that they could fight. They can't see you, but they know somebody right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But the first thing they say to you is, why you don't run? Why you don't move out the way? They'll say, well, he couldn't hit you if you didn't stand there. Won't you move out the way? Don't want you run? Won't you stop breathing? they're like, well, I know he can hear you breathe, and just stop breathing, which is, or take
Yeah.
off running. He can't run
So
and
why are you
find
gonna
you and
take
hide.
off running? I can see if you had some sight that may have worked. But if you totally blind, you
Mm-hmm.
what you run? You gonna run into something, so that's just gonna help him.
Right. So,
You run something,
those
it
are the
knock you
questions
down.
that,
Yeah, that just and people don't realize, some of them don't, that they ask idiotic questions. I just really wish they would think
right.
sometime before they ask these questions.
Mm-hmm. Like, you ain't got to see the punt nobody. You can just
Right,
swing.
right.
If you close enough to them, and you hit them and all that, and thing to
What
that
is
nature.
what
And
is it
so,
take
go ahead.
listen, that how some people say they would rather somebody physically abuse them than verbally.
Verbal abuse is, physical. They may hit you once a month or once or every 6 months, but usually when a person verbally abuse somebody, it's just a constant day to day. And it just constant. If a person wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or six and say, "I'm gonna kill you today. I'm gonna beat you today. I don't want you. I'm gonna leave you." They just all day. So now my day already ain't in a positive state. Instead of you know how it is when somebody say, "Good morning, hon. Love you. Bye. See you later when you get home. Have dinner ready." Then you gotta wake up. You better get over there. I'm gonna beat you when I get home. You better have that house. That ain't no good positive. And to constantly just hear that every day make you not be in a good mood. And if it were me, and everybody, y'all can hold your emails and comment, I'd rather just go. You may just wake up, just go and punch me and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Then to just talk down about me every day, because when you get in that state, ain't nothing you can do right. What can you do right to please a person who ain't nothing you gonna be able to do right? When
No,
you cook them
because
breakfast, the egg too running,
there is something they ain't
the
pleased with
bacon ain't
themselves.
crispy enough. You think that would it be?
Yeah, it's something to do with their
That they don't
own,
be pleased with themselves?
and it's something to do with their own issues, I believe. And I'm just gonna be truthfully honest, being a person that been in a relationship with physical abuse. It made, like, I didn't have self-esteem issues like that,
Right.
but it did make me get a lot of hatred and a lot of bitterness, and at one point in time depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was figuring out, okay, well, what is it that I do that make that person so mad and so upset? But it's majority of the time, as I learned this person, it was nothing that I did. It's past issues, um that some people don't deal with issues. Like, it stems from a lot of stuff that he had going on growing up in his childhood, early adulthood, abuse he suffered from a parent or something. And 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 at the end, it was always like, after he snapped out of it, like, he was back to being a sweet person. Like, when he snapped out of it, it's like a totally different person.
Well, people always ask the $1,000,000 question, why don't you leave? That always be the question that get asked in those situations. Why don't you just leave? And do people really understand that it's not as easy as it is on the outside looking in?
Some
Even
people
though
don't.
even though you're getting abused sometimes, but a lot of time that person have made their spouse or significant other feel like they all they got, or they control all the finances, or they control them mentally. Because in a situation like that, usually you are getting mentally controlled, and they have a mental hold on you, and a lot of people don't know it, and they use tactics to control you, especially in our community, in the vision and impaired community. Like we said earlier, they try to make us feel like that they are the only thing they got. And so one tactic they'll use is isolation. They'll try to isolate you from the rest of the world.
Yep.
and for me,
Alienate you from your family. Well, try
right,
to. Yeah.
make you feel like your parent don't care nothing about you, your mama don't care, your daddy don't care, your children don't care, or your brothers and sisters they won't let them come to the house, or can't call them on the phone and things like that, and they always try to bring up things about what they haven't done for you and all that. And then when you feel isolated as a person, then you feel like you have nowhere to turn. And so that's why this group that y'all, the VIP ladies, and you can let the women know out there if you can't talk to anyone, they can inbox you, and then it's a group of y'all, and you could talk. And I know you tell them all the time you available to talk all the time, so or just listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just want to be heard
Yeah.
and get things off of their chest. Because I'm as a person, as a vision impaired person, I had anger issues, and I think sometimes in being transparent that I have projected my anger on other people to the point um, that may sometimes got out of hand. But that go back to thinking about what you said. A lot of times it's us. The problem lies in us when and then we can't beat ourselves, so we feel that we can abuse somebody else, and that'll make us feel good. But it's really not. My sister, um, and the biggest thing that hurt me to the day that I didn't. My sister used to get abused by her boyfriend, and I went to my sister one time after he had abused her real bad one time, and I told her I was gonna kill, and I really was. I was gonna kill the man who abused my sister. I loved my sister. She would never leave, and she would always go back, and I never understood why. And I told her one day that I was gonna kill him. I knew a guy who would sell me a gun. I'm not gonna call his name because he's still living. And I told her to take me to his place, and I had don't talk to him, and he was gonna sell me a gun, and he said you don't need no. I asked him for a 9 millimeter. He said you don't need that, and I told him the situation, and he said you need something that when you pull the trigger, it gonna go off immediately. So he said I got a 38 down here. I said, and so I was telling her to take me down there, and I told him I said when he get in the car today, I'm gonna I'm gonna kill him, and she said no. I won't. She begged me not to kill him and said she wasn't gonna go back and she wasn't gonna never have nothing to do with him. But it was just a lie. She ended up going back and ended up dealing with that person up until the day that she died. But I remember her telling me, she
Hmm.
said, "You got a family." She said, "You got a wife and you got 2 kids." At the time, CJ wasn't born then. She said, "You got 2 kids and don't ruin your life over me." And I didn't do it. But on my heart, I knew in my heart that if I got that gun and I got him in that car that day, that I was gonna kill him. I knew I would, with no doubt about it, because I was sick and tired of him abusing my sister, and it just and it hurt me to this day when I think about it. I didn't do nothing, that I should have did something. But what me killing him, what that would have did? Nothing. Or me shooting him, even if she stayed alive, she would have probably went there and took care of him. You know what I'm saying? Nursed him back to
Yeah.
health.
If he didn't die.
And if he didn't die, she would nurse back health. Or probably got mad at me for killing him. You know? So that's just the hold that people have on people. And that same guy, he ended up after she died, beating a visually impaired lady. I think she was visually impaired.
Oh.
Also, he used to jump on her too. I heard. So, he out now, but he ended up going to jail. I don't want to run across it because I don't know how my feelings is, about it. But a lot of times, we have to. A lot of time we people don't tell you. You don't know. You really don't know that people getting abused or verbally abused
Oh,
or
now you had
physical
one out.
abuse. You don't know people getting verbally abused or physical abuse Some people can hide it.
Yeah, and that's just it. Some don't know. They don't know to the very end. You know what I'm saying? Some like you get a call, some saying one of your loved ones got killed by their spouse or their boyfriend, girlfriend from, being beat or whatever. And you like, now where all this come from? This is my first time hearing about it. So people can hide really well. And one thing about it is when you talk about them alienating them and keeping them isolated from the family, that's one way of hiding. Or don't want them to go out, with friends. That's another way.
And so what are the signs that people should look for that they're getting controlled or abused? Because they may just think their spouse just love them so much that they just want to be with them 24 hours. You
And
know
you
what
know
I
what?
mean?
Sometimes it's it's sometimes it's hard to discern. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Because some women have the mindset to think that if they don't beat them, that they don't love them.
Is that true?
Not at all.
So I hit you because I love you is a just words that don't that's not a true meaning.
No, not to
Cause,
me.
Cause they
Because
say that now,
you don't hit nobody, you don't beat nobody, abuse nobody you love.
but that's what gets said though.
That's what gets said, and that's the thing that gets sunk into these women's mind. You
hmm
know what I'm saying? If they constantly tell you that after a fight or whatever,
I love you.
then yeah, and you so sometimes you so in love with them that you believe that stuff.
And usually the time after a fight they want to have sex.
Yeah. But see,
And
I guess that's another thing that'll, get you confused about the whole ordeal.
hmm that if he beat me and hate me, if he hate me, why would he want to have sex with me?
Yeah.
We could find. So what did that fall under? After you jump on me, and then you have sex with me. Am I really in that state of mind to want to really be intimate with a person who just slapped me or kicked me or hit me with something?
Not me, and to be honest, probably a lot of other women don't be, but just because they might be scared that if they don't, that it'll be another fight. So really, if you look at it, you kind of forced to do it.
Cause you don't the option to get you just got
Yeah,
beat,
yeah.
and then now if
So
I
you like,
don't get,
well,
I'm gonna get beat again.
yeah.
So
So
it
you
may be
like,
easy to just go on with these
mm-hmm,
20 minutes or whatever and get it over with versus getting beat again.
mm-hmm.
A lot of and I would think that would kind of fall under sexual abuse also.
Yeah, kind of
And
awful.
and then even asking, you was asking about sexual abuse in the visually impaired community to you know find out, and just by speaking with people, we're learning that it's a lot of sexual abuse. We know overall, but a lot of it has not been spoken about in the visually impaired community because a lot of it get hidden or not discussed or talked about, and we're learning that a lot of females and males have stories that they got abused, and they think they got abused based on the fact that they was visually impaired and couldn't see what was happening. Do you think that it's a number out there of women and men that are being abused or have been abused based on their visual impairment?
I do. I think it's probably a whole lot of it, that it's went on and maybe it's going on. Um, that people just don't know about because you don't hear anybody speak about it. You might hear one or two there, but it's nothing like as if it were, it's the sighted world. It gets spoke about them all the time. So
Mhm. We learned about the Me Too movement where people was forcing people to do things, and a lot of times, and we have heard that a lot of people in the vision impaired community have been put in a situation that was just flat out assault, sexual assault, or rape. If you with one person, I heard. had a story of a person that was with somebody, and they were being intimate, and the person got up and said, "Can I use the restroom?" And then they went into the restroom, and another guy switched up with him and came out and pretended to be him. That's assault. That's rape. The person didn't consent to that. So, and we're hearing stuff like that. If you just because I can't see, that don't mean you should put your hands on my booty, or you should be able to touch my breast, or you should be able to touch me in any manner. Just because I can't see, that don't mean I want to be touched. Or if
Yeah.
I'm at your house and I said no, still mean no. Don't threaten or not. I have heard people, I won't take you home, or being threatened to get put out, and them being not knowing where they at. So
Yeah.
they had to go ahead and participate, based on the fact that if they did not, they'll probably get left or harmed or anything like that.
And
So,
some people be like, well, why you just didn't let them put you out? It's a different story
hmm
when you're sighted as opposed to blind or visually impaired. It's already bad if you're sighted that you get put out somewhere, but at least you can see your
right.
surroundings and you
hmm
can walk until you know what I'm saying, reach a house or a store or something. But being blind and visually impaired, that's totally different. Because if you're totally blind, you just stuck unless somebody come by. I'm like, where are you going to walk to? Like you don't know where you're at already. It's not familiar grounds. Because normal time they'll take you somewhere where you're not familiar
Right.
with the hope of like, well, yes, they gonna give in because they out here this place they ain't gonna find no way out here. And then when you're blind and visually impaired, it just make it that more scarier for you.
So, what are some of the steps that, before I ask the question, do you think that blind people can be too aggressive and touching and feeling, especially blind guys?
Yeah, because they will use that. Oh, I didn't see you, or
hmm
sorry, I couldn't see where I was going, and I thought I was grabbing a hold to this or that. Yeah, they come up with excuses. Blind guys can, because off the top that most of the time they have to touch and feel the stuff that they're looking for, like doorknobs or whatever. So
hmm
that's a convenient excuse for them.
So, do we give them a pass? Could the first time be an accident, or is it certain incident that it can be accidental versus they just perverts?
It can be accidental. I give first time to me if it's something that it depends on how you went about touching that part.
Okay.
No, sometimes it can be accidental, but given the way that the touch feel or the
hmm
way you reach that me to touch, and if you touch a specific part, then that was on purpose. Like when you're doing something accident, it just like you graze. You know what I'm saying? You just like
hmm
graze by or whatever. Like, oh, I didn't mean to. But if you just reaching at a specific body part in that direction, and from how your touch go, like if you just like barely touch, I say
hmm
that's an accident. But if you flat out touching or gripping, that ain't no accident.
So, do you think that people, even people accidentally touch visual impaired people, or they'll purposely do it? Like I got a story with one lady telling me one time she was at the grocery store, and a guy was trying to reach on her dress and touch her, was standing in line, and probably thought because she couldn't see that was gonna be acceptable.
No, not at all. Because that I don't. Now, if you brushing past somebody, your
hmm
hand or something, touch the thigh or shoulder or whatever, okay,
hmm
accident. But for
hmm
you to go up under somebody's dress,
hmm
what's gonna be your excuse if you say, oh, it was an accident? That ain't no accident. What? There's nothing in the store up under the dress, up under the dress you could be reaching for. See what I'm
Right.
saying? So I
So all
don't.
y'all blind Ray Charles acting guy, keep your hand to yourself now. You know. So what precautions can visually impaired people? we just talking to our community right now because that's the community we want to take care of our own. What precautions that you would recommend for them to take when they meeting somebody to minimize the chances of being assaulted?
For one, if you uncomfortable with going by yourself, make sure you take somebody with you. You know, they don't even have to sit, directly where you're sitting, but make sure there's somewhere around you.
Okay.
Always have your phone, always keep it charged. Don't I would say don't turn it off. You know how some people put on do not disturb when they're out.
Mm,
I wouldn't recommend that.
share your location.
Yeah.
Always share your location. Everywhere, even when I travel, I share my location. So if something happened to me, somebody can, even the police could go back and say this the road he traveled and did where they stopped at or whatever, just to be able to know.
And I would always say meet up, especially your first couple of times, meet up in a public setting.
Okay. Yeah. Meet in a public setting.
Find your own ride there. Don't get in the car with the person, because they very well could, by your not being able to see or can't see that good,
Hmm.
they could drive you somewhere and do whatever.
And I would recommend to anybody, make sure you let somebody know where you at and their
Yeah.
expected time to be back home.
Well, that
Um,
all goes along with sharing your location.
right, yeah, sharing your location and have an emergency plan. Make
You know,
sure
and it don't hurt to keep a knife or razor up in your
uh,
purse either.
some mace. What
Razor.
about some mace? Just in case you got to mace them.
Mhm. A razor.
All razor, just in case. And trust your first instinct. If you feel that this
Yes.
going bad, this going left, and it ain't good and going good, it's not gonna get better. Trust me. The
Mm,
night won't get no better unless you change.
right.
And because they're not gonna change, they move. If they're expecting something from you and you expecting something different, they're gonna keep expecting what they want from you until you either give it or whatever. So a lot of time just don't be pressured into doing nothing you don't want to do. And if you have a story that you would like to talk about, because we want to get this out to the public. Our goal is to hear you. If you want to be heard, or to get out and make aware of what's going on in our community, you can go to the VIP web Facebook page and VIP. That's VIP Ladies on Facebook, and inbox Miss Katrina, and we will get with you and talk with you and hear your story, and maybe you can help somebody who coming up who's newly vision impaired and say, well, I want to date. I might want to get out here and date, and then can turn into a horror scene for the rest of their life just because they want to be dating and didn't know how to properly protect themselves.
Don't be ashamed or scared to share your story because your story may help someone else who has been through what you've been through, or may bring awareness to other blind or visually impaired women to be careful about dating and going out with guys or whatever.
Well, we thank you, ma'am, for this cross podcast, VIP ladies and ISight community. Been a very informative conversation. We thank you for speaking freely, and I can see the passion that you have as an individual to want to help people in our visually impaired community to live a better life. Because despite our challenges, despite the fact that we're blind, despite the fact we can't see, or despite the fact you can't hear, or despite the fact that you in a wheelchair, you still can have a normal life. You just may have to make a few adjustments in your
Absolutely.
life. Yeah, you may have to adjust it, hey, but we out here. And if you
Yeah.
want to join us, we meet up once a month so you can in Macon, Georgia, if you local in this, and we're gonna travel and we're gonna take this show on the road and see other cities and just let people know that just because we blind, we're not sitting in no house, we're not in no nursing home, we're not in no corner, we ain't in no corner.
Hey, we don't. Nobody don't have to dress us or
No,
feed us,
yeah, but they got a
or
dress. So we,
even cook for us at that
yeah,
matter, or take care of our children because we can do that on our own.
right. All right. When we at the restaurant, we order, we buy out the bar too. You know what I'm saying? um, we knocking down drinks or two too. We eat steaks and everything. We out
Hey,
here.
we clubbing.
Yeah, we twerking. They twerking. The ladies here. But a guy might get twerked on. But anyway. But God bless y'all. This is our ISight Community Podcast. I am your host, Cabriel Bruce. This is Miss Grable, Miss Katrina, and we thank each and every one of y'all for joining us. Have a blessed day.